100.5 and 790 WSGW and online WS.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show. This one midweek for a Wednesday morning. It's going to be a busy one. In just a few minutes, we're going to talk to Stacey Bladen, who is with MDHHS. She is the Interim Director of Children's Services Agency. And we will talk about a committee looking at child safety, particularly as it relates to some of the facilities used to house children. We will do that in just a moment. Open phones as time permits. We will talk to Michelle Phelan from the Alzheimer's Society during the 10 o'clock hour about identity theft and scams. And then we will talk to Adam Fairchild about golf during Focus at 11 o'clock. Adam, the co-owner and head pro at the Sawmill. Just want to take one moment. You heard Dave do the story just now, but I want to congratulate Chris Mudhenk from the Great Lakes Loons, now named president and general manager. I first met Chris when the Loons came to town, and I was hired to be the backup public address announcer to Jerry O'Donnell when he couldn't make it the first 2 years, and had a good time doing it. But that's where I first met Chris. A great guy. He's worked his way up through the ranks in the organization, and it is a well-deserved promotion to president and general manager. And just wanted to offer him my congratulations. All right, we're going to turn our attention to youngsters and how they're treated in certain facilities in the state of Michigan. And to do that, we welcome to the program the Interim Children's Services Agency Executive Director, co-chair of a steering committee called the Child Caring Institutions Steering Committee. We say good morning to Stacey Bladen. Stacey, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us today. When this crossed my desk and my producer and I had looked at it, this has particular interest to us because in our midst, right around the corner, practically, is the Wolverine facility, which the state is moving to, we understand, revoke their license. Is that part of what you looked at and what this committee is doing?
The committee didn't look specifically at the Wolverine Center. That was an action that was taken as a result of some findings that were made by our licensing division. But in the big picture, yes, that is part of what we're trying to do in regards to reforming child caring institutions and improving safety and care when kids do need residential services. So the action that we took with Wolverine Secure Treatment Center there in Saginaw was related to efforts to improve safety. And when kids cannot be kept safe in facilities, we will take action to recommend revocation of their license.
Stacey, what brought this about? How was the committee created?
Yeah, the committee was created last fall. If you remember, we had experienced a tragic death of one of our youth that we were responsible for his care, and he was receiving care in a facility, a congregate care setting for treatment, and he died after he was restrained. And we were all, very saddened by that death, and we knew that we had to take action. And we had to that we were moving to do the reforms in terms of making them safer. And so we formed a committee after we received recommendations from national experts about how to best improve our system. So we formed a committee in September. It was a 6-month committee. We brought together advocates in the child welfare profession. We brought together our private providers, our own DHHS staff, and experts in behavioral and mental health services together to identify priorities, to implement those priorities so that kids can be safe when we have them in our care and custody.
Obviously, one death amongst your protectorates is one too many. But how severe is the problem in terms of restraint, seclusion, Is this a severe problem in the state of Michigan?
Well, I mean, there is no evidence that help children heal. These are kids who come from a trauma background. They've experienced trauma, and it's our responsibility to keep them safe, secure, but also to help them heal and develop new skills to be successful in the community. And so there is no evidence that coercive or controlling interventions, which restraint use is one type of coercive and controlling intervention. There's no evidence that that works. And so we know that we need to reform the culture in our congregate care settings and in our facilities so that kids receive the intensive treatment that they need to heal. And so that's what we're working towards with our providers at the table. And they've been very active and very eager to make reforms that they know as well will help kids and their families get back to normal life.
Obviously, one paintbrush doesn't paint the whole situation. I mean, there are those youngsters that require certain types of intervention, aren't there?
Sure. We know that kids, they do better in community settings, and we can serve them with mental health and behavioral health services right there in their own community, and most often even with their family. And so we know that's ideal whenever we can do that. For some kids, you are right, they will require a residential setting for treatment. But again, we have grown to be over-reliant on the use of those facilities. We have had kids stay in facilities for much longer than probably necessary. And so we're really focused on an urgency to provide intensive therapeutic services to kids that need it in that setting, but get them back to their home communities just as soon as possible.
So what other recommendations will come out of this committee? What other reforms would you like to see?
Yeah, one of the major reforms that we've worked on with our partners is to revise the rules under which facilities must operate. And we're working towards complete elimination of the use of restraints in Michigan. And so we've drafted revised rules that will apply to all child caring institutions that really limit the use of restraints and seclusions toward total elimination by 2022. Which we think is a very significant step in the right direction. We're also working to create a data dashboard, which will create transparency for the public about how kids are faring and what the outcomes are for kids who are served in residential services, as well as seclusion. So that is a transparent report that we can all use and see to make improvements. Those are two very significant efforts underway.
When all is said and done, will the state still have to contract with organizations like Wolverine?
Well, the state's going to contract with providers and for services that are effective in achieving the outcomes we're looking for. And when that doesn't happen, the state won't continue to contract with that facility. I want to add that we're working with facilities to provide best practices and help them with technical assistance. We understand that these facilities are part of the community and they do good work by and large. But when there are concerns and issues and it's unsafe for kids, we will move to revoke license and end contracts with those facilities.
Many of these youngsters, and I'm a layman talking, I'm looking at it from the outside, but I'm assuming many of these youngsters have come from broken homes, been through the foster care system. Does any of this apply to the foster care system?
Yes, these are kids that are in our care and custody for the reasons you just described. They may have experienced child abuse or neglect in their own homes, or they may have been involved in a delinquency charge with the court. And so, but all of these kids have experienced some level of trauma and, as you described, discord in their families. And all of these children are really simply trying to grow and be safe and learn how to develop new skills to be successful in life, right? That's what we all want. And so we know that those kids need a therapeutic approach. They need help to develop effective skills so that they can function in their own homes and in their own communities to be successful. And so we aim to provide those services, whether it's in a foster home or whether it's in residential services, to get them to that point.
Anyone who's lived in this state or almost anywhere for a long period of time have always heard about youngsters that, quote, fall through the cracks in the system. We addressed that issue and we mitigated it.
Oh boy, fall through the cracks. You know, when you talk about that, I think more in terms of primary prevention, and it's Prevent Child Abuse Neglect Month here in Michigan. And so I think of helping families before crisis even occurs. I mean, that's the best that we can do to prevent kids from falling through the cracks, is to reach out and help support families, whether it's with concrete needs that they have, or whether it's services for mental health, domestic violence, substance use disorder. If we can get to families early, we can prevent kids from falling through the cracks and experiencing trauma that then leads to them being part of the child welfare system.
So if you were to look at the overall child care system in the state of Michigan, that would be prevention, foster care, adoptive services, and housing services for those that need it. How would you grade Michigan compared to other states?
Oh boy. I hesitate to do that. We all operate with different rules and different underlying values. I would say I'll give Michigan a B for moving in the right direction. We're not there yet, or I'd give us an A. But we have a strong vision about where we want to go. Art, we know that prevention works, and we know we need to expand prevention and support services for families. The last thing we want to do is to add to separating them from their parents if we can avoid it. And so I think that Michigan has a clear vision about expanding prevention services and also keeping kids with their families whenever possible. And certainly when they need residential services, we use residential services for a much briefer period of time to get them back to the community. So I think we are on the right track. I think we have a strong vision, and we're working real hard to get there.
All right. So last question. How much of what this committee is proposing needs legislative action, and how much can be done by rulemaking?
I would say 90 plus can be done with policy and practice change. And then if we do need the support of our legislative colleagues, we will put forth proposals to do that. At this point, I don't think that we have anything that we're eyeballing for legislative change. But we are in the rulemaking process, and we are in the process of changing policies, training, practice changes, and things that we know will help better serve kids and their families.
Well, Stacey, I want to thank you for spending a little time with us this morning and talking about the committee and the proposals. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Stacey. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stacey Bladen, and she is the Interim Children's Services Agency Executive Director, co-chair of the Child Care Institution Steering Committee. We thank you for spending some time with us this morning. We will move to our open phone portion for the remainder of the hour. Whatever's on your mind, you can give us a call, 752-6111. Inside the state of Michigan, 866-790-WSGW. Outside the state of Michigan, call 989-752-6111. And it's time to play WSGW's Spring into Cash contest. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering the following winning word online at WSGW.com. The word this hour is swim, S-W-I-M. With the warmer weather outside, you might want to go for a swim. It's an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner chosen each day, must be 18 or older to play. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Spring into cash on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW. We will be back after these notes.
Spring is finally here. The grass is green, the flowers are blooming, and there's only one thing to ruin this picture: the annual task of scraping and painting your old garage door. Get back to enjoying spring with a new garage door and opener from the pros at M&R Garage Door. Home design experts agree. Replacing your garage door can instantly transform the look of your home. M&R Garage Door can install your new door or opener professionally and has trained staff to stand behind their work. Remember, at M&R Garage Doors, service is their specialty.
I am so need a chance. So where do I start?
MidMichiganWork.com. Moorbark is now hiring welders, machine operators, and other skilled positions. No training? No problem. Apply for Moorbark's welder training program and earn while you learn. For more details on this position, other local companies that are hiring, and how to apply, go to midmichiganwork.com. That's midmichiganwork.com.
While we've been staying safe at home, scientists have been on a journey. The destination, a COVID-19 vaccine. This journey began decades ago with research into other coronavirus. Scientists built from there with months of research and development, cooperation with other experts worldwide, and clinical trials on tens of thousands of volunteers of diverse race, age, and health status. They arrived at a safe, effective vaccine, and hundreds of thousands in Michigan have already been vaccinated. But the next step is ours. We need to get the vaccine when we can. Keep wearing masks correctly and taking precautions until we reach our destination, freedom from COVID-19 and getting back to the lives we love. Discover the facts for yourself. .gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon believes the U.S. could be seeing an economic boom through 2023 if more adults get vaccinated and federal spending continues. Dimon's comments came in his annual letter to shareholders. U.S. trade deficit rose to a record in February, $71 billion. The 4.8% increase is more than expected. PO says it has more than 1,400 jobs available in the U.S. for commercial truck drivers and dock workers. It needs the employees to meet growing demand. Target is committing to spend $2 billion with Black-owned businesses by the year 2025. It will add products for more than 500 companies across a variety of categories. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Finally, spring has arrived, and so have all new Untuckit styles. Check out our new wrinkle-free shirts that every guy needs. Don't forget our famous polos, the official shirts of spring. Untuckit shirts are designed to be worn untucked and will look great as we get back to the things we've been missing, like dinner with friends, reuniting with family, going on vacations, and yes, even heading back to the office. Untuckit, shirts designed to be worn untucked. Use code TAKE20 for 20% off your first purchase at untuckit.com.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
It's all about the nose. It's your air defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So deliver a lot of hay. ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Line drive, base it into right center field. Goodrum will score. Cabrera heads over to third. RBI double for Jamer Candelario, pumping the fist.
The Tigers play 12:50 today on 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show. And let's go to our phones. Chris is in Midland. Chris, good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Your guest sounds like she's got her head screwed on straight. She presented a good case, and I don't want to poo-poo anything she said, but anything and everything operated and funded by government has their hands tied behind their back from the get. because if they don't get funding, and if they don't get the funding for training of the people they oversee on a start, is probably doomed from the start.
So what's the answer?
I worked in a field for 25 years that was government funded, that cared for disabled folks. And if we had folks that were emotionally challenged that might lash out, and in the beginning of my tenure, we did physical restraint if it was the last course,
sure,
of trying to disrupt the situation. Property damage, if it was physical injury to some other person or an employee. And there were errors that were committed, and our training evolved, and our method of operation evolved. So I hope the incident that she described about that death in the care system she described doesn't happen anymore.
Well, and I think that's why that committee was formed. It's an evolution,
Right.
as you described what happened to you. It's an evolution. But I go back to my original question: if government, funds these things and holds the axe over your head, what's the answer? We do have to have government,
I don't
don't
have
we?
it, unfortunately. Yeah.
And you've defined the problem. I mean, and that's exactly the answer I would give too. I don't have the answer. We need government funding. We need government to do these things. Government doesn't do very much efficiently, but hopefully when government realizes mistakes, they correct those mistakes. Sometimes they correct them with more mistakes. Other times they fix the problem. Hopefully in this case, they are working to fix the problem.
Yeah.
It sounds like they are.
Yeah, well, I hope. I mean, like I said, she sounds like she's got a great idea and a great vision. The person I ultimately had to answer to was so far out in left field, talking over her head. That a lot of us that actually had to carry out the directives didn't understand what she was saying half the time. But this lady spoke in plain English that I think anybody can understand. So
Well,
that's good.
government is no different than private enterprise. There are good folks, and there are a few that aren't so good. And the question is how you weed out the bad ones from the good ones. That's always an issue. It always will be an issue. It's as true today as it was yesterday, and it'll be the same tomorrow. Sometimes those bad apples cause great harm. I mean, right now we're witnessing the trial of a police officer in Minneapolis. Does he represent the majority of police officers in this country? Of course not. But that's true of most things in society, So yeah, she does have her head screwed on straight, and she did answer the question. She didn't beat around the bush, So very good.
All right,
Chris, I appreciate
thanks,
the
sir.
call, my friend. Thank you. Take care. Bye now. Saginaw Bay City, 752-6111, toll free 866-790 WSGW. Let's take a pause, and then we'll be back with more on this open portion of this hour. Whatever's on your mind, give us a call.
Join the millions switching to Spectrum Mobile, and you could save up to 40%. Nationwide 5G is included with every plan, and there are no added taxes or fees, plus no contracts. And for a limited time, get up to $300 off a new Samsung 5G phone with trade-in when you switch to Spectrum Mobile. Visit a Spectrum store near you or go to spectrummobile.com today. Savings comparable unlimited plans amongst major national carriers as of 1/27/2021. Data usage limits vary by carrier. Spectrum internet required. Services not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
How do you protect yourself from the new forms of the coronavirus? Here you go. Got a mask that fits good and snug? Perfect. Now, give your neighbors at least 6 feet of space and avoid crowds, because all that stuff still works too. Look, I'll definitely get my vaccine when it's my turn, but now isn't the time to let your guard or your mask down.
We can do this. Learn more at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm the president of Hillsdale College, and I'm one of the people who knew Rush Limbaugh well for a long time. So I thought I'd say some things about him. I met Rush Limbaugh in 1987 or 88. 88, I think, was the year in which he became a sort of national figure and moved from Sacramento, California to New York and launched this mighty radio show that then went on from 1988 until his death this year. He's a galvanizing man. He came to my notice because I'd be in taxi cabs in Sacramento, California. And if it was in the morning, Rush Limbaugh show was always on. And every time there was a break, the cab driver would turn around and say to me, this guy, to him. And I thought, boy, this guy's something, you know, because that mixture of an analyst and an entertainer was deliberate in him, and he took it to the highest state. I met him in a hotel. Somebody pointed him out to me, and I went over and I said, love your show, which, you know, everybody who ever met him probably said that to him. Then later, he became a big national figure, and I would have contact with him from time to time. He got the idea that we should advertise on his show, and he had a backlog of people wanted to advertise. So I thought, yeah, we'll give it a whirl. And then the point about a whirl is he was great. He understood what college was about. He wanted me to explain it to him, and I did many times. And he just turned it into gold. So I admired him. I liked him a lot. You know, he was on the radio 3 hours a day, 5 days a week for 30 some years. It was essential to the success of Rush Limbaugh that he was an entertainer. He was funny. He would just make you laugh. But more essential than that is that he represented some big things that are rooted deeply in America, and he defended those things consistently for his whole career. And of course, those things cannot die. They are eternal. And he has helped to sustain them so far, and we should.
Never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Direct from the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you on WSGW. Art Lewis Show for this Wednesday morning. Back to our phones. We're going to go to Eatonville, and that's where we find Mark this morning. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How
Morning.
are you, sir?
We're doing well. Hope you are.
Yeah, I called this one disappointed. They said that the COVID bill was $1.9 trillion that was passed.
Right.
And if you took $1 and you lined it up on a road, it said that it would go just over a mile long if you were to stack them sideways. Only 1/10 of a mile was related to the COVID bill.
Yeah.
The rest is still laying on the road or blowing in the wind. Why
Yeah.
is we, as a this type of stuff? We're better than that, are we not?
Well, I would hope so, and I would think so, but government controls it, you know, and
So the next,
so, you know, the answer, you know, the answer always in these situations is, first and foremost, let your representatives know what you think about it. Secondly, come time to replace representatives and those in government, you try and get enough people to agree with you. Other than that, we sit here and we watch and we shake our heads sometimes, don't we? A lot of times.
so the infrastructure bill is could be more once it's all done
Oh,
making the
yeah.
sausage.
The
So if we lay it
infrastructure
out
bill
on-
is misnamed in my view. Only a third of it goes to infrastructure, and I think that you know that's a travesty in itself. But that's beside the point.
So that would be like 2 miles of $1 bills
Yeah.
laying on the road.
Exactly.
And if we only use, you know, a third or 10% of it, that again is a lot of money being laid on the road for infrastructure that's not being used properly.
Yeah, well, I would say this. The infrastructure portion of it is designed to be spent over 8 years. So it's not going to get all spent at once. So I'll give them that. But there's so much else in that bill that has nothing to do with infrastructure that should stand alone on its own merits. That's the part I disagree with.
Right. I just wanted to put some perspective into how much money's being left on the road when you stack them up.
Yep.
Dollar by dollar, and it's a mile long.
And you know the problem? Here is a problem. I was once told this by a representative, a congressman, actually. Congress gets away with all this because the American people have trouble thinking in terms of trillions of dollars. That's an enormous number, and it doesn't mean anything to the average person who deals in dollar bills every day. So when you start talking about billions and trillions, it's beyond the scope of imagination. And consequently, you know, we hear the number, but we don't react to it. Doesn't mean anything to us.
Well, we hear a number and we react to it, but we get led on by little trinkets in the bill that we think are enticing and we should back it and support it. But you're right. When you look at the math and look at the numbers, there's a lot of money that's not being spent to the in the proper way. But.
Yep, absolutely. But that's been government all along. I mean, there's nothing new about it. It's just bigger numbers today. That's all.
Yeah, but at what point as a society do we stop and say we need to change this because it's not benefiting society?
That happens about every 2 years, and sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. So we'll see what happens.
All right, sir.
All right, take care. Bye bye now.
Sure.
Along those lines, though, the nonpartisan person in the Senate, generally that refers to the parliamentarian, has ruled that the Democrats better hold on because this is a dagger in the heart of Republicans. He has ruled that the Democrats can move forward with as many bills as they want for the next 2 years with a simple majority vote, bypassing the filibuster. Now, the rules of the Senate require they be money bills. They can't be policy bills. But anything that has to do with money, spending money, parliamentarian has given them the green light to do what they want with 51 votes. So, in fact, that even further empowers Senator Manchin from West Virginia because he is a centrist. He is a swing vote. If he swings against the Democrats, they don't have the majority. If he swings for them, they do have the majority. He is going to wield a lot of power. And the infrastructure package can pass the Senate. However it comes to the Senate, it can pass the Senate or be modified and pass the Senate by just 51 votes. That would be 50 Democratic senators and the vote of the vice president, who is the swing vote. And that was a recent ruling from the parliamentarian. So hold on. Time will tell. We're going to pause and then come back. We'll get to Scott in Saginaw when we return. When you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan for your Medicare coverage, it's easy to get the care, tests, or treatment you need whenever you need them. When you need access to care, Blue Cross provides you with more options that work for every lifestyle. Schedule appointments for checkups or routine care at a time that's convenient for you. If you'd like to stay close to home, give the Blue Cross 24/7 nurse line a call or schedule a virtual doctor visit. Whenever you need assistance, Blue Cross will connect you with the information and help you need. With a Blue Cross Medicare plan, you'll never have to go without your medication. Their easy-to-use prescription drug plans allow you to refill and pick up your medications from your local pharmacy or have them delivered by mail. Get access to the care you need as soon as you need it with Blue Cross, the company more than 500,000 people in Michigan trust for their Medicare coverage. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan confidence comes with every card. See what other members are saying about Blue Cross at bcbsm.com/senior care. We'll be back.
When it comes to finances, does it ever feel like you're all alone with lots of questions and too few answers? Maybe it's time to find a credit union home, excited about working together with you through life, where you belong, and connect with local folks who know you as more than an account number, who answer your questions before you even ask, and are passionate about your possibilities, flexible about changing and growing right alongside you, trustworthy like a friend or neighbor. Belonging at Wildfire Credit Union means your money stays right in your own backyard, helping to build this community so we all. If you're an individual or business looking for a place that truly cares about people, relationships, and community more than money, we welcome you to join Wildfire. You belong here. Together. Let's do this. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
A history of success means proven performance, but let's call performance what it is. Profitability. And boosting yours, no matter what the season brings, is the goal of DeKalb brand corn. Backed by exclusive genetics, whole farm solutions, and unmatched dealer support. Let nothing shake your perseverance. Ask your dealer how DeKalb brand corn can help you realize a future of performance. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
When pushing yields, it pays to be flexible. That's why farmers pursuing profitability count on Asgrow brand soybeans and XtendFlex technology. XtendFlex products for 2021, you can count on Asgrow to keep you out in front all season long. Ask your dealer how much further you can grow when Asgrow leads the way. Always read and follow label directions. Products featuring dicamba may not be approved in all states. Contact your state pesticide regulatory agency regarding the approval status of this offering in your state.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, how about just voting on your iPhone? Is that cool?
Oh, God. How many electoral votes does Beijing get?
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show. Back to our phone. Scott is in Saginaw. Scott, good morning to you.
Hey, Art, how you doing?
We're doing all right.
All right, I got a comment question. I hear you say a lot, the extreme from both sides. So I want to throw out there on the left what I think the extreme. They murder babies in the womb. They have open borders, want to defund the police, want to basically make it possible for anybody to vote. And you even had Democrats that were elected officials that went out and protested with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. With that being said, what is the extreme on the right?
Well, you'd have to ask the left, because as you view the left, they view the right. And when I say the extremes on the right and left, on the right, I'm talking about the very far right, who make all the noise, and the far left, who make all the noise. But most people don't live on the far left and far right. They live in the middle.
But what is the far right, though?
Well, the far right would be the absolutists who absolutely want government their way. And, I'm not saying they're wrong. Don't get me wrong here. I'm just telling you that the noise is made on both sides. And I understand your views of the far left. But I guarantee you, if we sat down with a group of people from the far left, they would have their views of the far right, which would be different, very different.
Okay, but with that, the left actually goes out and protests their far left extremes. You show me a Republican that was elected that was out with, I don't know, Aryan Nation, the Ku Klux Klan, saying this is what we need to do. You can't show me one of them that was elected. But I'll show you plenty of Democrats that go out and support.
Yep, I understand that.
America, hating whites.
I understand that. So come next election, you vote your conscience, don't you?
Well, we tried to, and we've seen what happened.
Well,
stolen.
all right. Now we're not going to go there, because that, let's face it, that horse is out of the barn, the door's closed, and it's not going back in. Next election, you watch, because midterm elections are not usually very positive for the party in power.
No, they're not. But again, I just wanted the clarification because you're still not really giving me anything. Because you say the extreme right, and I'm giving you examples of the extreme left. Where
As you see it, I understand
that.
that.
Allowing people to be raped.
I understand your views.
Where's the extreme right? The right says, let me worship my God. Let me keep my gun. Let me go to work. If that's extreme, Art, we're in a world of trouble.
Yep. I understand what you're saying.
Well, then I would appreciate it. Since you can't seem to clarify and explain what you mean by the far right, I wish you wouldn't use that, because what you're then doing is you're lumping the Republicans in with the Democrats. The Democrats are a nasty, nasty bunch of people who murder their own. Republicans.
All right, we're gonna stop there, because most Democrats I know don't murder anybody. Now, I will agree with you that they have different views on abortion than most of us, and not most of us, but those of us who believe abortion is wrong, they have a different view. But to say they go out and murder all the time, come on now, this is where you end up in trouble, because you exaggerate it. And if you exaggerate it, you lose credibility. So don't do that. Talk about a specific thing. If you talk about abortion, fine, I understand that. But don't lump all Democrats as murderers, because that's not true. And that's where the far right gets in trouble, as the same way the far left does. All right. Let's see. I think we have Jim in Wheeler with us. Jim, good morning.
Good morning. We was talking about this, where the money goes for the infrastructure fund.
Yep.
And he can't figure out where all the money's going. It's called the Democrat Reelection Campaign Fund.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. The Clintons did it. The Obamas did it. And this money is that contracted out to
but
a certain percentage of back to the Democrat Party.
Yeah, but I want to point something out to you. I want to point something out to you, Jim. What's beeping? I want to point something out to you. Yeah, the Obamas did it. Come midterms, who won the House? And who won the Senate?
You know what? Well, there's a lot of ignorant people out there.
No, wait a minute now. No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point, Jim. Yeah, Obama did it, all right? So he tried to buy the election, right? But come midterms, he lost the House, lost the Senate. So what I'm telling you is it's not a guarantee.
You got to have it, and you don't like to talk about it because the horse is out of the barn. But I don't believe that was an honest election. And I never will. I'm 73 years old.
And you have that right.
I never believe that was a legal election.
Okay, you have that right.
Yeah. All right. You have a good day, Art.
You too, Jim. Bye-bye now. All right. Time is fleeting here, so we won't have time for any more calls. But we will next hour. We'll have a guest early on, and then we'll have more time. All right. Look, I know there is a deep passion regarding the last election, particularly from the right, feeling that the election was stolen. It's never been proven, and I live in a real world. I don't live in an imaginary world. And in the real world, 60 plus courts of all kinds of judges, Republican appointee, Democrat employee, centrists, all ruled against it. All of them. So until somebody comes along with hard evidence, not speculation you heard from some other talk show host, but hard evidence that a court says, yep, you're right, it's a dead issue. It's not going to change. Joe Biden is going to be president for the next 4 years. Like it or not. That's reality. All right. We're going to take our break here, and then we'll be back to close out this hour of the Art Lewis Show.
At Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. FVP's Volt Edge Lawn and Garden Battery will power all of your tractors and lawnmowers. Each battery is built with the power to get you started, even in extreme temperatures. Lawn and Garden Battery off. Get 11% off everything. Now at Menards. Good through April 10th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Receive a $5 rebate by trading up any non-contact thermometer toward an Exergen temporal scanner purchased at any retailer. With nothing matters more than having an accurate thermometer that's backed by more than 80 published peer-reviewed clinical studies, like the Exergen temporal scanner. Even after getting the COVID vaccine, you should be monitoring for fever to make sure you are protected. Keep your family and yourself safe by trading up your non-contact thermometer for an accurate temporal scanner and a $5 rebate from Exergen, where accuracy matters. Details at Exergen.com.
All right, that puts the first hour in the can. We're going to talk to Michelle Phelan from the Alzheimer's Society coming up at the beginning of the next hour about identity theft and scams and some warnings from the association. And then we'll move to open phones for the remainder of that hour. On Focus at 11 o'clock, we're going to talk golf with Adam Fairchild, head pro and co-owner of the Sawmill Golf Club. Before that, CBS News and the local report ahead here on WSGW. We'll be back to talk to you right after the news.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
News on the hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. Pretty soon, if you want a vaccine, you can get one. President Biden announcing April 19th is now the date for all adults in the United States to be eligible to get a shot. And as more Americans do get vaccinated, many states across the country are starting to let up on COVID restrictions. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom says he plans to fully open the economy in June. Craig Forrest lives in Lodi and is happy an end is in sight.
I just got a message on my phone that we went to red, and it's like, hallelujah, what's next?
Well, first it was mask me, now COVID skin. The minor redness and itching in your arm. Some people can get full body rashes as well. The skin reactions usually start a day or so after the vaccination. They may last up to a week. In Paris, they're dealing with a surge in COVID cases, but one industry is booming because of it.
With fashion stores closed again during lockdown, online sales are booming, and vintage sales are doing particularly well in France. Experts at the Art Curial auction house say both buyers and sellers are using the time they're forced to stay home to go through their wardrobes to see what might fetch some cash or what they'd like to acquire. Classics like Chanel jackets or Hermes purses are always popular. Between 5 and 10 times as many bids as before the pandemic. Elaine Cobb, CBS News, Paris.
A piece of Titanic history is up for auction in Boston. Jack.
Senior wireless operator Jack Phillips, not the fictional Jack in the movie, wrote the postcard to his sister in 1912. Had a glossy photo of the Titanic on the front the day it launched from Belfast. The message on the back, very busy working late. Hope you're okay. 5 weeks later, Phillips became a hero, wiring other ships, begging them to come to the rescue when the Titanic began taking on water. His body was found in a collapsible lifeboat after the ship sank. It ends a week from today. Experts expect it'll sell for at least $15,000. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Opposition leader Alexei Navalny still isn't eating. CBS's Holly Williams.
Navalny started a hunger strike a week ago, a protest against the Russian authorities denying him access to his doctors. The outspoken opponent of the Russian government says he's suffering from acute leg and back pain.
And Mike Pence has launched a new group. It's called Advancing American Freedom. It will serve as his vehicle to help defend Trump-era policies. You can now take your mask off if you're visiting Disney, only briefly, though. To take pictures is a restriction. You have to be outside. This is CBS News.
When you're hiring, there's no luxury of time. So instead of waiting for people to see your sponsored post, invite them to apply. More at Indeed.com/credits.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do. And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No. Sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Bader & Sons Company, your local John Deere dealer, is hiring. With 10 Michigan locations, we are looking for great people to add to our parts, sales, and service teams. If you or someone you know has turf and or agricultural experience or think you might like to learn, please consider working with us. To apply online, click on greentractors.com and go to the Careers tab for an application. Find out more today, and you'll see why we are outstanding in our field.
Finding great candidates to trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
How do you protect yourself from the new forms of the coronavirus? Here you go. Got a mask that fits good and snug? Perfect. Now, give your neighbors at least 6 feet of space. All that stuff still works too. Look, I'll definitely get my vaccine when it's my turn, but now isn't the time to let your guard or your mask down.
We can do this. Learn more at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
It's 56 degrees at 10:05. Good morning. I'm Ian Williams. Michigan lawmakers have reintroduced bipartisan legislation improvements to dams and hydropower safety. Representatives Debbie Dingell and John Molinar originally pushed for the revisions after the breach of the Edenville Dam and Sanford Dam failure. Their proposed measure would enhance safety operation requirements nationwide and modernize existing infrastructure. In his weekly update on COVID-19 in Bay County, Public Health Officer Joel Strauss said positive cases of the virus have been increasing over the past couple of weeks, as they have been across the state. Strauss said variants of COVID-19 that have been detected locally are part of the reason.
2 of these variants have been identified in Bay County, specifically the UK. We expect that these new variants are helping to drive especially amongst the youth and school-age residents.
Strauss said Bay County is doing well with distributing the vaccine, with 55,000 doses given so far. He said 75% of seniors in Bay County have received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. Bay County residents can sign up for the vaccine on the health department's website or through pharmacies at Meijer, Walgreens, Rite Aid, and Kroger. State health officials say around 250 residents who were fully vaccinated against COVID-19 still got the virus. Important to get vaccinated when you can. Dr. Deanna Lights reports.
None of the COVID-19 vaccines offers 100% protection from the virus, but the vaccine lowers your risk of serious illness if you contract the virus. And with new variants that are more contagious circulating in the community, more people who are fully vaccinated may. Dr. Bart Buxton is the head of the McLaren Healthcare Vaccine Program.
We're seeing that people that have been vaccinated have been able to contract the virus, but we're not seeing it at a very high rate, and we're also not seeing those people get as sick as they would had they not been vaccinated.
Dr. Buxton says when possible, get any COVID-19 vaccine that's available to you.
And that was Dr. Deanna Lights. WSGW News Time is 10:07.
Who will help you get there? You spent years working, taking care of your kids, saving money, and now you're nearing your turn. You get to decide where to go next. Will your retirement include travel? Do you have a guide to help you get there? Jason and Carl Kreiderman and their team at Great Lakes Investment Advisors have helped hundreds of families create their retirement roadmap. Don't let financial limitations take you off course. Jason and Carl want you to have the retirement you've worked so hard for. They can help you create a retirement roadmap that's tailored to your lifestyle and long-term financial goals. Call Jason and Carl Kreiderman and the team at Great Lakes Investment Advisors today at 989-848-1188 and schedule a visit. 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. For planning, tune in to Jason and Carl Kreiderman's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Investment advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor with the state of Michigan.
WSGW News Time is 10:08. Police have identified the body of a woman discovered Saturday. A passerby called Huron County Central Dispatch around 7:50 a.m. to report the body in a water-filled ditch along Clemana Road between Brown and Pobens Roads in Brookfield Township. An autopsy yesterday determined the victim to be 53-year-old Christina Klasowski of Seaboyd, who was reported missing on Friday in the area of Bach and Pobens Roads. Police say there were no signs of foul play. The cause of death has been ruled hypothermia. The Saginaw Arts and Enrichment Commission is seeking nominees for its All-Area Arts Awards, an annual event honoring artists, art supporters, and arts organizations. WSGW's Rick Antonio has more.
Nominees for the 2021 awards can include individual artists or volunteers, nonprofit organizations, and supporting businesses or corporations. Individual nominees must have been born or resided in Saginaw County and be living at the time of nomination and have achieved local, state, or national prominence in the visual, performing, or literary arts, provide or promotion of arts education, or demonstrated a significant commitment to improving the quality of life in the Saginaw community through exceptional contribution to the arts. Nominations can be submitted online at artsaginaw.org before April 30th. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
When you see news happening, call the WSGW Newsroom 752-0790. It's 10:10. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Isolated showers today, otherwise sunshine as highs warm to the low 80s. We'll have south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies as lows drop to the mid 50s, southeast winds 5 to 10. Thursday, chance for showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, 74 degrees for your high temperature. Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms, 55 degrees for your low temperature. Friday, we have a chance for rain in the afternoon, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Mandy Faluber with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently 57 degrees.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Nice to have you with us. And we will have open phones later on in this hour. But we're going to start out talking about a topic which is of interest, I think, to everyone, no matter your age. But there are some particular individuals who are more susceptible to scams and identity theft. And we're going to talk about that this morning with someone from the Alzheimer's Association Michigan chapter. And we say good morning to Michelle Phelan. Michelle, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for being with us. So, I'm holding this release from the Alzheimer's Association that says protecting yourself from scams and identity theft. Also talks about healthy living and mental health programs available to Michigan residents. How did scams and identity theft get to the top of the list from the Alzheimer's Association?
Yes, so we know that unfortunately older adults are at a greater risk of being a victim of some sort of financial scam, and that could be for a variety of reasons. You know, sometimes it's because older adults tend to have a greater accumulation of assets. Unfortunately, they often are more lonely and isolated, which we've seen so this year. But also, we know that individuals who are older have an increased risk of developing impairment or a form of dementia. So we really want individuals to be aware that dementia could change your ability to logically reason. And we see that there's a lot of people that come to us that have been victims of identity theft because of some sort of memory issues. So we wanted to make sure we brought light to that issue.
It would seem to me, looking at it from the outside, of course, as always, the person who is suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's, early or late stages, if they're susceptible to being scammed, are they going to understand the warnings, or is this message really for caregivers?
This is often for caregivers. So you're right. The people with dementia don't always notice changes that are happening and might not be able to identify some of the signs. So this program that we're having coming up is for older adults who might not, individuals who are cognitively healthy, but also caregivers. So some of the warning signs of being a victim of financial scam or a financial exploitation include, withdrawal, talking about financial matters, the bills that aren't being paid, if somebody has new friends or like sweethearts, which unfortunately we see romance scams are on the rise, especially this past year. All these are warning signs, so it's important for caregivers, family, and friends to look out for these in older adults.
Now, I know that the Michigan chapter is having these April Dementia Super Saturday series. Is this one of them, and when is it coming up?
Yes, that is correct. We do one Saturday per month just to offer a different time and get a guest speaker to speak to some of our constituents. So our next Dementia Super Saturday is on April 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And starting at 10 a.m., we'll hear from Latoya Hall, who will present on this top program director of Successful Aging Through Financial Empowerment, or SAFE. And this is a program through the Institute of Gerontology with Wayne State University. And we encourage individuals to come so you can learn how to recognize scams, identity theft techniques, but also learn what services are available if you or someone you know has been a victim. And then at 11 a.m., we'll present our 10 Warning Signs program to learn about the changes that happen as you age compared to the early symptoms of Alzheimer's.
Is this virtual or is it in person?
It is virtual, so you can either join via Zoom, or if you prefer phone, there's always a dial-in option. So if you would like to register, you can visit alv.org/GMC/virtual, or we also have a 24/7 helpline, 800-272-3900. And I must don't necessarily fall into that category of older adults, but I saw Latoya speak the other day, and definitely a lot of useful information that we could all benefit from.
Now, the early headline in this story was protecting yourself from scams and identity theft. Then it goes on to healthy living and mental health programs available to Michigan residents. How are we doing in Michigan in treating first mental health and then dementia?
So with specifics to mental health, I can't necessarily answer that. I would say just from what I know that I think generally there is a lack of care for mental health, but I think in recent years we're bringing more attention to that, especially this year due to the pandemic. There's so many people who are suffering from mental health issues, rightfully so, because of the many changes. In terms of dementia, we also know that we enough people affected by dementia. There's about 190,000 Michiganders currently living with Alzheimer's, which is the most common form of dementia. And we are really trying to make people aware of this disease, because so many people wait to be diagnosed and then it's late on the disease. And so if you get diagnosed as early as possible, you have a higher quality of life. And the Alzheimer's Association is a big supporter of research to try to, address this disease. We're also trying to advocate for a dementia unit within the Department of Health and Human Services in Michigan to bring more light to this disease so that we can expand care for all those affected.
So along those lines, are we making any progress in treating Alzheimer's?
We are making progress, and it is definitely, some people, complain because it's a slow process, and that's understandable. There is a lot to learn with Alzheimer's. There's a lot we still don't know. Each day we become closer to finding some sort of cure. So a lot of people might have seen some things in the news recently about a medication called aducanumab, and this, if it is passed by the FDA, would be the first medication that could possibly slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. It's still being reviewed by the FDA. We expect a decision later this year, but the Alzheimer's Association is hopeful that even if this drug is not passed, it is a significant step towards finding a medication that might one day be passed, and that is the first step in finding a cure.
And that, the cure is a big word. I've often, in talking to mental health professionals, they don't like to use the word cure because they think that's that it's going to be pretty difficult to achieve because of the restructuring of the way the brain functions. But they do think they may be able to find medications to put off either the onset or the continuation of Alzheimer's to give people many more years of productive life. Is that the thrust of the research right now?
Yes, correct. Thank you for that additional input. It is more so looking to try to stop the progression, because Alzheimer's disease, as well as other forms of dementia, are a progressive disease, and they attack the neurons in your brain. So you see brain cells starting to die and a visual shrinkage of the brain. So the hope of most of these medications is to stop that, the killing of the brain. Might be some that are able to reverse it. That's probably way down the road, but right now our big focus is mostly to stop the spread and the death of brain tissue. But we're also trying to focus on researching individuals who are at an increased risk but have not yet shown any sort of symptoms. So we know that signs of Alzheimer's can start to appear in the brain up to 20 years before any symptoms start to express themselves.
Right.
So there's a big chunk of research focused on that.
I want you to hang on if you can for one more segment here, because I want to talk about, from the caregiver standpoint, signs of Alzheimer's or dementia, because all too often they're not taken seriously early on, not recognized early on, I should say. We'll talk more about that when we return. We're talking to Michelle Phelan from the Alzheimer's Society Michigan chapter, the Alzheimer's Association. Time to play the WSGW Spring into Cash contest. Right now, you can win $1,000, the daily cash prize, by entering the following winning word online at WSGW.com. And the winning word this hour is can, C-A-N. Congress can't keep kicking the can down the road. It's an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner chosen each day. Must be 18 or older to play. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Spring into Cash on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW. And we will return with Michelle after these notes.
Wearing a mask is more than protection. It's a bridge to better days. The path back to celebrations with family. Nights out on the town with friends. Game days. Teams. And the thrill of live concerts. But until we can all get the COVID-19 vaccine and build community immunity, which will take time, we all need to continue to stay careful. Because Michigan's recovery is depending on you, and so are your family, friends, and neighbors. So even after you're vaccinated, wear a mask, avoid large gatherings, and social distance. One day in the near future, we will all be able to put this pandemic behind us. But until then, spread hope, not COVID. /coronavirus. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. I made sure that they would be everything you'd ever want in a sheet set. I started with the world's finest cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region where the Sahara Desert, the Nile River, and the Mediterranean Sea all meet. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with extra wide pillowcases to fit over any pillow and extra deep pockets to fit over any mattress. Not only that, they come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free. I personally guarantee that they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special, or call 800-635-1825 and use promo code SKY.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened lower. There's an update on the economy coming from the Federal Reserve later today. The Fed releases the minutes from its March meeting. The trade deficit rose to a record in February, topping $71 billion. Economists say it's because the U.S. has recovered faster than and Americans were spending stimulus payments. United Parcel Service is buying electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft from Beta Technologies. UPS plans to use them on its properties. Royal Dutch Shell, the parent company of Shell gas stations, says it will return to making a profit in the first quarter. For the first time since the pandemic began, Shell also says the winter storm in Texas will impact its earnings. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Are you taking Cialis or Viagra? Marley Drug? For just $12 per tablet. That's a savings of $60 per dose. Marley Drug is an independent pharmacy delivering generic Cialis and Viagra to your door for $12 per tablet. Call Marley Drug at 800-513-0570. That's 800-513-0570. Again, 800-513-0570.
Northeastern Paint Supply invites you to listen to the WSGW Focus Show with Art Lewis. Weekday mornings from 11 to 11:30. You'll hear local business and community leaders. Sponsored by Northeastern Paint Home Decorating Centers in Saginaw and Bay City. W is your station for the Tigers.
It's been an incredible first two games for Badu. Swinging a line drive, base hit into right, Badu! Line drive single, Castro scores, and Badu in game 3 delivers the walk-off.
Tigers baseball, brought to you in part by
Bader and Sons, Michigan's John Deere dealer.
DCECU.
And Schaefer Beer Line in Frankenmuth.
Your home for the Tigers is WSGW.
All right, back with you. We're talking to Michelle Phelan from the Alzheimer's Association Michigan chapter. Michelle, as I mentioned before the break, one of the most difficult things for a loved one or a caregiver is to first recognize dementia and then maybe even to accept the fact that your loved one or significant other has it. What do you look for? What are the signs, particularly the early signs?
Yes. So the Alzheimer's Association has established 10 different early signs of Alzheimer's. And so one of the biggest ones that we often think of is memory loss. And this is more so than just forgetting where we put our keys, but when your memory loss impacts your daily life. We also notice changes in problem solving, used to woodworking or following a recipe, doing bills. Those are all of the bigger warning signs. But there's also changes in communication that happen. If you notice that your loved one isn't recalling very common words or is becoming more socially withdrawn, those are things to be aware of. And there's also some behavioral changes that could possibly happen. And there's more information at our website at alz.org to go into the specifics of these things. But if you do notice any of these signs, it's important to talk with a doctor. It doesn't necessarily mean it's Alzheimer's. There could be other some of these issues, but it's definitely important to get a diagnosis early.
Alzheimer's is just one specific form of dementia. Is that right?
That is correct.
Do other forms of dementia have the same negative effect on life?
Yes, unfortunately they do. There are several different forms of dementia, and we say dementia is more so a group of symptoms. There's always a disease causing those symptoms. So some of the most common forms of dementia are Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, we see Lewy body dementia, Parkinson's disease could also have forms of dementia. So all these different forms affect the brain in some way. The specifics are a little bit different in terms of the different types of proteins that build up, but ultimately they all have very similar effects and they cause some sort of brain damage. They are progressive diseases. However, there are some such as Lewy body dementia. There's often more of a behavioral element with that sort of dementia. So there are, some differences, but generally they're all progressive brain diseases.
In talking to doctors, and I'm fortunate I get to talk to a lot of them because of what I do for a living, but in talking to one in particular, I asked him specifically, I said, look, I'm 78 years old and I'm sitting here in my home doing my radio show. I use my brain all the time and my mouth. I said, does keeping your brain active act like an exercise for your brain and ward off some of the signs of dementia? And his answer was kind of like, don't discount that. What's the association feel about it? Can you exercise your brain?
Yes, we encourage there are four main ways to try to reduce your risk. This doesn't guarantee you'll never develop a form of dementia, but
he said that too.
Reduces your risk. Yep. And so one of those is to be cognitively trained. So whether that is reading or learning a new instrument, playing chess, all of those things definitely help. There's also healthy diet, physical exercise, and social interaction. All of those four things together really do help to develop a healthier brain.
Oh, I'm 2 out of 4. The two that I'm not are the healthy diet and the exercise, unfortunately. I'll have to work on that. All right, so let's remind everybody again about the series coming up this Saturday.
Yes. So join us on April 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You'll hear from LaToya, gerontology at Wayne State. She'll talk about how to protect yourself from scams and identity theft. And then the Alzheimer's Association Michigan chapter will present 10 warning signs at 11 a.m. We encourage anybody to join, whether you are an older adult or not. You can learn more at alz.org/GMC/virtual, or you can call our 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900.
That number, if somebody's a caregiver or about to be a caregiver and suspect they have an issue with their loved one, what should be their first step?
The step is, if you think you have an issue, go to your doctor, but our 24/7 helpline is a great resource. Anybody can call, whether you have Alzheimer's, you are a caregiver, or you just want to learn more. We have people available throughout the day to answer any question and to also guide you through a plan. If you're just overwhelmed and don't know what to do, we have master's level clinicians available to talk through the next steps, the importance of getting an appointment. And the association can also provide lists of doctors available in your area so that you can take that first step of getting an appointment.
I probably should have done this right off the top at the beginning, but describe the Alzheimer's Association and its various aspects and what it does.
Yes, so the association, we are a nonprofit and we are a nationwide organization, and our vision is just a world without Alzheimer's and other dementia. So we do this in a few different ways. One way is through our programs and services. We provide education programs, support groups, our 24/7 helpline, and a lot of other online resources via social engagement that provide dementia-friendly activities. We also are the largest nonprofit funder of research for Alzheimer's disease in the country. And we know we talked about treatments earlier on, so we find this to be incredible and an effort towards that. But we also have an advocacy wing. So we work with state and federal lawmakers to try to advance our mission. We try to increase funding for dementia care and research and make sure that this issue is a top priority for our lawmakers because we know it has a significant impact emotionally, physically, and financially.
I know you represent the Alzheimer's Association Michigan chapter. Are there local chapters in communities around the state?
Yes. So I had mentioned Alzheimer's Association is nationwide, but the Michigan chapter does serve the entire state of Michigan, including the UP. We have 10 offices throughout the state, ranging from to Grand Rapids. So there's really an area or an office that's close to you. Even if you don't have an office in your city, we do still serve the whole state, and we are available to help. So the best way really is to visit our website or call our helpline to figure out what programs are available to you and how we can best serve you.
Do you know if there's an office in the Great Lakes Bay region, Saginaw Bay, Midland County, or close by?
Yes, there is. Yep, there's an office that we have that will, it's like a floating office, so we'll have locations in Saginaw and Midland and the Bay City area. So there's always going to be somebody assigned.
Great. Well, Michelle, thank you for taking time to chat with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Do it again. Take care now. Bye-bye. Michelle Phelan from the Alzheimer's Association Michigan chapter. We appreciate her time this morning. All right, for the remainder of this hour, up until 11 o'clock, we'll have open phones. Saginaw Bay City, 752-6111. Inside the state of Michigan, 866-790-WSGW. Outside the state of Michigan, 989-752-6111. Give us a call, whatever's on your mind. Let's chat about it this morning on the Art Lewis Show, and we will be back.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Here's what you can do. Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream and pay off those credit card balances. You can to $100,000. The process is all online. You never have to leave the house, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 17% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.95% APR with AutoPay.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money at a much lower rate. Thanks, Lightstream.
Want an even lower interest rate? Apply today at lightstream.com/news and get an additional interest rate discount. /news for an additional discount. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.5% auto-pay discount. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/news for more information.
It's been a challenging year, and Consumers Energy knows asking for help can be hard, but finding it doesn't have to be. If you need help with your energy and other bills, call 211 or visit mi211.org for access to the help you need.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
Employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free.
Pillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code Why for this amazing special.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
I want to be an astronaut.
I want to be a teacher.
I just received a full scholarship to the college of my dreams.
Child Up for Success is right at your fingertips. Hemlock Public Schools have been the schools of choice since 1863. Our mission and vision? Here to serve, innovate, educate, collaborate. Let us educate your children on a path to success. Explore more at hemlockps.com. Hemlock Public Schools, excellence in education.
Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
On air and online from the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WS.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show. Open phones for the remainder, and we'll go to those now. We'll talk to Tom, who is in Bay City. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
We're doing all right.
Have you been following Grand Traverse County's outbreak on the COVID?
I have not.
It was on 9 and 10 News 2 days ago, and it's been it's pretty extreme. But they said that most of their COVID cases, and it's putting Munson at risk as far as the Munson Hospital centers, not just the hospital, but the whole Munson. Their numbers are way up, and they're expected to go farther up. But at one school, I think it was at one school, they had 46 kids.
Oh, wow.
But they tested the school.
Yeah.
And I talked to a couple of educators here, and and a couple of them told me, well, we can't test the kids if we test schools. What that tells me is we know people are going to test, so we don't want to test them and know that for sure, because then we'll have to shut things down again.
Yeah, it could be.
And
That
now,
could be. It's interesting that Grand Traverse region, early on in COVID a year ago, was one of the areas that wasn't that affected. Now all of a sudden they are highly impacted.
and they said they thought it was the new strain, but they weren't sure. They hadn't gotten that far in their testing.
Yeah.
But they said that their highest group right now are people up to age, what is it, 20 or 30, I forget.
Yeah, and
Early
that's
teens, preteens to, but
that's happening nationally too.
Yeah, but that's what's driving it up there right now. And but my thinking is, because I deal with a couple of nonprofits as well, and I'm sitting there trying to set up committees. Should we do this? Should we do that? And I got people saying, well, we should. I got people saying we should. I said, okay, plug in the liability. I want the committee to look at the liability. And somebody said, what are you talking about? And I said, if you make a decision that say, we can't test the kids because if we do, we'll have to shut the schools down. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm looking at the people making those decisions and on those boards, liability-wise, because I've been told by our insurance companies that insurance companies don't cover pandemics and that kind of stuff. We're not insured against it. So
I've heard that.
The individuals, the board members, like school board member, whatever, whoever's making those decisions, and I'll go back to Grand Traverse County. They did report that in that area, they have 19 counties that have, 111 school districts or something. And he said, well, we can't make a decision. We're going to let the school districts make their own decision because many of our school districts, as far as distance learning goes, can't do that because they're very rural and they're not set up to do any of that. And he said, so we're going to let them make it, and most of them are making it based on educational decisions rather than healthcare or pandemic decisions. And I'm thinking the liability on those people has got to be tremendous as far as their personal liability.
You know what's interesting, I find interesting about all this, Tom, is that if one thing this pandemic has pointed out, it's how ill-prepared we were to deal with it.
Oh,
and
no question.
On the national, state, and local levels. And you bring up some interesting points. I mean, there was a law change, a number of years ago, a couple of decades ago now, where a lot of nonprofits had to rewrite their bylaws and how they did business and how they registered to pick up liability protection against decisions. And, I don't know how many ever did it. I hope most of them did it. But I don't know how that would impact, for example, a school board if they made a decision. There probably is some immunity along the line there. Insurance companies may not cover it, but there may be immunity in the law. I don't know for sure.
But here's the issue. You were talking about the new nonprofit statute, and I'm familiar with that. Here's the downside. It has an upside and a downside. The upside is if you dot 100% of your I's and cross 100% of your T's in your meetings and have the requirements that the statute says, then you're covered.
Right.
But with that new statute, they're saying if you missed one I, didn't cross, then you don't meet the requirements of the statute. So now it's personally liable. So there's a good and a bad side to that law too.
Well, that's like everything, and how do you make sure you've dotted every I and crossed every T?
Well,
you need to have an expert in your corner who can tell you that.
Right, but most nonprofits I know are small.
Yeah,
and they haven't
absolutely
complied with the statute. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, but because we're looking at some of that too, as far as do we want to place our directors, make them at a spurious lawsuit? Since the insurance companies aren't there, they have to pay individually because it's not covered by their homeowners. I've already checked that out. They have to defend that, and the costs of that are thousands upon thousands of dollars to pay those defense fees.
And that's what some of the insurance companies are counting on, that you won't. Because even though the insurance company says, no, we're not, that doesn't mean they won't, because in court they could lose. Then you got to file court papers, and you got to hire an attorney. You got to do all of those things,
right.
which is
people can't afford that.
Which is how they win by default.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Hey, Tom, glad you called. Thanks. Appreciate it.
God bless.
You too.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye now. Saginaw Bay City, 752-6111, toll free, 866-790 WSGW. By the way, in terms of COVID, come 2 weeks from now, all adults over the age of 16 will be eligible to be vaccinated. And more vaccines are flowing. Hopefully in another month and a half, we get a predominant vaccination in this country, and maybe we can get back to something closer to normal. Things are beginning to loosen up a little bit. I do find it interesting, though. The state of Michigan was probably one of the tightest states in the union, and yet our COVID numbers have skyrocketed lately. Texas, on the other hand, has opened up everything to everybody, and their numbers are declining. Now, I'm not an immunologist. I'm not a scientist when it comes to that. I know nothing about it. Only what I see, read, hear, look at. But I do find that a bit contradictory, isn't it? So who knows what's right and who knows what's wrong. We're going to take a pause. We'll come back and talk to Jack and Mount Pleasant when we return after these notes.
While we've been staying safe at home, scientists have been on a journey. The destination, a COVID-19 vaccine. This journey began decades ago with research into other coronaviruses. Scientists built from there with months of research and development. cooperation with other experts worldwide, and clinical of thousands of volunteers of diverse race, age, and health status. They arrived at a safe, effective vaccine, and hundreds of thousands in Michigan have already been vaccinated. But the next step is ours. We need to get the vaccine when we can. Keep wearing masks correctly and taking precautions until we reach our destination, freedom from COVID-19 and getting back to the lives we love. Discover the facts for yourself at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Finances. Does it ever feel like you're all alone with lots of questions and too few answers? Maybe it's time to find a credit union home, excited about working together with you through life, where you belong, and connect with local as more than an account number, who answer your questions before you even ask, and are passionate about your possibilities, flexible about changing and growing right alongside you, trustworthy like a friend or neighbor. Belonging at Wildfire Credit Union means your money stays right in your own backyard, helping to build this community so we all live fully. If you're an individual or business looking for a place that truly cares about and community more than money, we welcome you to join Wildfire. You belong here. Together. Let's do this. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Research shows that people repetition. So to help you remember that Liberty
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. Art Lewis Show for this April 7th, the Wednesday. And Jack is in Mount Pleasant, so we'll go to Mount Pleasant and say hi to Jack this morning. Morning, Jack.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
All right.
Let's do some mathematicals and take the emotion out of it. February 10th, we had in Michigan 1,044 cases. There were 42 deaths.
February 10th of which year?
This year.
Okay.
This year. I'm looking at the data online, and that would be 4%. And I know there's 2-week incubation period. You can shift it over. The math will still work out the same. Now, April 3rd, we had 6,456 cases in Michigan. Oh, but wait, 30 deaths. Okay? Now, if you look at these curves and you do a derivative along the slopes, you can see the slope on the case is far higher than the deaths.
Right.
So the bottom line is these cases is no surprise. People are out, we got our shots, you're going to find people with the virus, but the death rate is not what it was. And that's what you're going to see with herd immunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really that's well known. It's well known.
Yeah. I think people are just panicking for nothing, like your caller prior. Now, he's probably more worried about liability. But you got news like variant this, variant that.
Yeah.
We're in good shape.
Well, yeah, I still have to ask. I still am curious why we had all the restrictions in Michigan, and in Texas they eliminated all their restrictions, and their numbers are going down. I find that interesting.
Yeah, there has to be an explainable factor between that, because statistically, that shouldn't happen.
And originally, we heard, well, weather may be a factor, but over the year, we've learned that COVID doesn't know weather. People get sick with COVID, and people get sick in the winter, they get sick in the summer. And you would think in Texas, more people are congregating, so there would be better chance for transmission, but it doesn't seem to happen that way. I just find it interesting. I don't know the answer. It's just I'm just philosophizing a little bit, but I just it does find a curious position in my brain.
Yeah, you raised another curiosity too. Is I wonder what the situation is, say, for example, in South Dakota, where they never had a mask mandate, or in Florida. Or what's going on in those two states? I don't know.
Well, I will tell you this:
those are really good questions.
When you look at the COVID map, where there are increases, almost all of those states are in the northern tier of the country, and the states that are having minimal impact are in the southern tier of the country. That could easily lead somebody to believe weather's a factor, but weather has proven not to be a factor over the year. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer. The answer to me is get the shot, get the vaccines, and let's be done with this. At some point in time, that's going to happen. So,
hey, great talking to you again.
Same here.
Maybe we'll talk to you next week. Take care, Art.
All righty. Take care. Bye-bye now. A question, this must be Pat asking, aren't Florida numbers rising too? I think Florida numbers are, but they're the exception in the southern tier. I think if you look at some of the COVID infection maps, a lot of the southern tier states don't seem to be increasing. Florida may be the exception. I don't know if it's Mississippi or Alabama look like it might have an increase, but for the most part, the rest of them don't. But the northern tier, boy, they're just all over the place. Listen. COVID will be debated, examined, discussed forever. The problem I see down the road is a historic one in this country. We have short memories. Once it's over, it's over. I think that as a nation, we should have learned that we were not prepared as well as we should have been for the pandemic outbreak. I would hope that in the future, from those lessons, we are better prepared to handle the next one. There will be a next one. Might not be in my lifetime or your lifetime, maybe not even our kids' lifetime, but there will be another one. I mean, the last pandemic, not just infestation of a particular viral form, but the last that was actually described as a pandemic was 103 years ago. So who knows how long it will be until the next one comes along. But I would hope that as a nation, we take it seriously and we are better prepared. In some ways, when you think about it, we were doing research on this very thing before it happened. And that is why the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines came to market so rapidly, because there had been research ongoing about RNA-type vaccines that prompt your immune system to go out and find the offending cells, if you will. This research was going on for 4 or 5 years. So the vaccine companies had a head start. And that alone should tell us that we need to be better prepared for the future. Take our last break and come back and close out the Art Lewis Show for today.
Now at Menards, save big money in your next project with 11% off.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Art Lewis Show. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, with lots more. Stick around for Focus coming up after the news. Today, boy, the weather's perfect to talk about this. We're going to focus on golf. Going to talk to Adam Fairchild. He is the co-owner and head pro at the Sawmill Golf Club in Saginaw Township. We will chat with him right after the news. But speaking of the news, coming up, CBS News at the top of the hour. Ann Williams with the local report to bring you up to date on everything happening in the Great Lakes Bay region. After the news, we'll be back with you to talk on Focus. Be back.
From the Stone Specialist Studio. Focus is brought to you by Northeastern Paint Home Decorating Centers in Saginaw and Bay City. For all your home decorating needs, trust Northeastern Paint Supply, serving you since 1959.
Welcome to another edition of Focus. The grass is growing, the mowers are mowing, and around the world, that wonderful sound of the word "for" can be heard on golf courses everywhere. Yes, it's golf season, folks, and we're going to talk about it this morning with one of the co-owners and the head golf pro at the Sawmill Golf Club in Saginaw Township. We say good morning to Adam Fairchild. Adam, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
I am fine. I would have to believe this golf season is off to a much better start than the last one.
It certainly is. I keep waiting for the bottom to drop out. I can't believe how beautiful the weather is, and we just hope it keeps going. That's for sure.
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, I know.
Don't talk about it. Well, I haven't been out to play the course yet, but I've been told there are a number of changes at Sawmill on the course. You guys have been doing a lot of improving. What's going on there?
Well, we started in the fall. Well, we started since we've owned the property back in March of 2019. Our commitment was to upgrade the property. It's a beautiful golf course, and it needed it was getting a little neglected. We needed to do some things out to where it should be. It's prominent. So we've this fall we cleared a lot of the undershrub and a lot of the dead ash trees, particularly on the back nine. A couple of reasons. We wanted to stimulate the growth back there, get a little more airflow on our back nine. If those of you that have played at our golf course, you know the back nine is through the woods and wetlands, and we obviously can get pretty stifling back there in the summer. So we've got a little airflow going. We got more sunlight for particularly our 12th green. That's going to help that green out quite a bit. We want to just still have the nice lands in the woods, but have some nice views, clear views throughout our golf course. And it looks really good. We're getting a lot of people that are commenting in a positive nature on what we're doing, and we're going to continue that to do it in the next few years to come as well.
I also understand if I stand on number 2T, I can actually look to the left and see 5 green now. You can see through
You can.
That's going to be different.
If you're on when you're on 10 green, you look behind you, you'll see the tee box that most people didn't know was back there. It will. My vision is when you're sitting up to the clubhouse, this will probably happen the fall of this year. We'll do a little more clearing, but our vision is you sit here at the clubhouse and you'll be able to see 5 green. You'll be over on 10 green. You'll be able to see 5 green, 2 green. If you're on 5 green, you'll be able to see 1 green. So that little area is going to really look nice when it's all cleared out. And again, we're not doing anything more, but just taking out the shrubby little stuff that has grown up through the years and the ash trees. We're just trying to, weed that out a little bit, make the forest in there a little healthier, obviously, and get that stuff out of there that's been, we don't want to choking out the nice trees that are in there. So it's going to be beautiful. It is beautiful. It's going to only get better.
Is the range open now too?
Range is open. You betcha.
And the restaurant?
We got restaurant is open as we speak. Yes, it is 7 days a week, and Chef Lee is back, of course, and
yay!
And Carol and all the staff in here. So we're anticipating a good year.
So how is membership doing?
Membership is we've exceeded our membership. We're doing a fabulous job with that. Very encouraging. We're getting a lot of young couples with families that are starting to get memberships out here. And actually, again, that's our future of our business, and encouraging to see. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's good news for golf because you always wonder where the next generation is coming from.
Yes, yes. Well, it started last year. I don't want to use, I guess if there's a shining light with the whole COVID, this was something for people to do last year whenever it up down. You could get out, get some fresh air, play some golf. And we started getting some of these young people out here. Obviously, the kids couldn't play ball and all these other activities that were kind of stifled. This kind of allowed people to come and get reintroduced to golf or introduced to golf. Some people are just brand new to the game. But I think golf is seeing a resurgence. I know the rounds were up last year, and I'm seeing the same thing happening by all indications this year. I think it's going to be another good year.
Good news. All right, hang on, Adam. I got to take a break. We will be back. We're talking to Adam Fairchild. He's a PGA professional and co-owner of the Sawmill Golf Club. More ahead on Focus. Let me first play the WSGW Spring into Cash contest. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering the following winning word online at WSGW.com. The winning word this hour, tulip, T-U-L-I-P. It must be spring. The tulips are growing. Tulip, T-U-L-I-P. It's an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner chosen each day. Must be 18 or older to play. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Spring into Cash on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW. We'll be back after these notes. And we're back with you on Focus, talking to Adam Fairchild, the golf professional and co-owner of the Sawmill Golf Club out on Midland Road in Saginaw Township. And Adam, let's talk a little bit about lessons, because you do give lessons. Do you have time in your busy day to give lessons?
I'm trying to make time. I'm getting a few lessons in now. I've got a bunch of people to contact and set up lessons, but yeah, it's going to be that's encouraging too, Art. I've got to find the time for that, and it's good to know that that many people want to get out here and work on their game and or get introduced to getting a lot of people that are just starting out, want to learn the game. So I'm looking forward to doing that this summer.
And I will tell you, folks, he's a great teacher because he's got the right demeanor, and he actually helped sort of straighten out my swing. Sort of. I may be helpless, but I don't.
No, you
So
probably need a little dusting.
I need a lot of dusting off. I'll tell you what. And part of it is, and this is always, I always found this interesting. As the older I get, and I'm 78 now, I try to deny the fact that my body has changed. And I think I can get out there and whack the golf ball the way I always whacked it. What I've actually found is I lost about 2 clubs. So reality sets in, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It is for me too. A few years, some distance, and we don't want to accept it, and always trying to find a way to get it back. But all you really got to do, the key to this game to play well and enjoy it, is just make consistent contact. If you're
that's
doing
all.
that, you can shoot some good scores.
Yeah, sure. That's all. That's easy. But how much of it, Adam? How much of it is a head game?
Well, I guess you can watch these guys on tour. I mean, we watched a few weeks with Lee Westwood, right there, trying to, he's pretty popular, trying to get a win again and come up short. And Jordan Spieth, and he finally broke through. So, yes, it does, if the wheels start to come off a little bit on from that. So, yeah, definitely mental side of golf is probably just as important, if not more so, than the physical aspects of it.
All right, so let's talk. If somebody wants to inquire about membership, what should they do?
Just give us a call at the Pro Shop at 989-793-2692. Or you can go to our website, www.thesawmill.com. Our rates are on the website. And if you have any questions, most certainly call us up, ask for me, and I can most certainly answer any questions for you.
And Lee is a great chef, and I know your Friday nights with fish are wonderful. What kind of hours is the restaurant? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right now we're open right now till 9 p.m. We're going to be extending those, obviously, as the summer comes. We'll summer hours, I'm sure, we'll be open till 11 o'clock. So right now we're open at 10:30 a.m. We're going to have some nice lunch specials this summer. We really want to get some people out here taking advantage of our beautiful deck that was just phenomenal for us last year, with everybody wanting to be outside with the whole COVID thing. Our deck just was absolutely a godsend for us. People were enjoying that, and I'm sure we're going to see that again this year.
Well, Adam, I wish you well. I hope you have a great golf season. I'll be out there, and looking
I
forward.
look forward to seeing you out there.
Looking forward to playing. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Buddy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. You sure appreciate it.
Bye-bye now. Adam Fairchild, he is the head professional and the co-owner of the Sawmill Golf Club. We thank you for being with us. We'll take a break, come back. We'll find out what's happening in the marketplace with Baird & Company when we return.
Do you promise?
and Bay City. For all your home decorating needs, trust Northeastern Paint Supply, serving you since 1959.
All right, that'll do it for Focus. We thank you for joining us today. Back tomorrow with more. Time to head over to Baird and Company for our ticket tip of the day, and we get to chat with Steve Anderson. Steve, good morning to you.
And a very good morning to you, too.
How are we doing midweek?
Right now, hey, I haven't used that word in a while, so I thought I'd slide it on in there. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down just about 20 points, putting it at 33,410 on 266 million shares. The NASDAQ is down by 2 points, putting it at 13,696, and the volume there is 311 million shares.
Lackadaisical. Oh, well. So what's
That's
your...
a good, yeah,
what's
whole
your,
hum, right?
Yeah, ho hum. What's your ticket tip for the day?
My ticker tip is, even though the market happens to be whole hum right now, it's whole hum right around the all-time highs. And how do you allocate? What do you do? How do you invest when the markets are at all-time highs? One of the concerns people might have is, well, if it's at an all-time high, there's, the next and only clear direction is down. Well, you cannot use that theory. You have to actually look at the underpinnings of the market. What kind of market strength is there? Is the economy growing? Are there good signs that would lead to more strength and higher prices later? Because using only the fact that the market just got to a new high, so consequently it has to go back down, you probably would have missed about everything for the last 10,000 points because the market has been almost continually at a new high. So make sure you get your mind set to just look at what's good, what was the reason you had made an investment in the first place, why would you want to make an investment in things now, and do it not forgetting about the fact that the markets are high, but not using that.
Sounds to me like I need a little help. How would I get that from you?
Well, you can call us right here at Baird & Company in Saginaw, where the telephone number is 790-5724, or you can find us on the web at RW Baird, and that's BAIRD.com, and look for the Saginaw branch.
All right, and have a great day. We'll talk to you later in the week. Bye-bye now.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Steve Anderson at Baird & Company with our ticket tip of the day, Farm Service 790 and 100.5. Next, with Farm Director Terry Henney.
When you
News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. If you're looking at us on the farm cam right now, you probably see that I've got a little bit of suntan on my forehead for a very good reason. It is just absolutely gorgeous once again this morning. I hope you've been able to get outside. And if you haven't, I hope you're able to get outside a little early as we go through the afternoon, because we're looking at temperatures pretty close to 80 degrees. Once again, like yesterday, we're going to be looking at finishing the day off pretty close to record high levels. We've got to get up to about 81 degrees, which is what it was yesterday. We came fairly close. Some of you were 79, some 80. Officially at MBS International Airport, they made it up to 77 over in the Midland area. The record high on this date is 81. That was set back in 1981 and tied again in 1991. So we're just going to have to keep our eye on that. I'm looking at a projected high temperature of 82. So I think we're going to have a record breaker. Down in Flint, they wound up 1 degree shy of a record. Same thing down in the Detroit area and over on the west side of the state, too. They were a little cooler on the west side of the state, but not much. As we went through the evening hours, very quiet, very uneventful. If there was any precipitation at all and cooler temperatures, it's where you would think the cooler temperatures, northern Michigan, especially right around the bridge and in the Upper Peninsula. But the UP still, temperature-wise, wasn't all that bad. Precipitation-wise, they're right in the pathway of a series of low-pressure systems that are pushing warm fronts up through the lower peninsula. But once they hit the straits, it's like they're running into a brick wall. So the warm front isn't moving all the way up through the upper peninsula. But what it's doing is giving them a lot more in the way of clouds and pretty good chance of rain shower activity. And that's what we're seeing right now. Not so much on the land mass of the UP as we speak, but we're looking at some pretty hefty rain squalls over Lake Superior and in southern Canada, starting right around the Arrowhead area of Minnesota and running right straight east across Lake Superior and then into southeastern parts of Ontario province. All that activity, the bulk of it is going to stay there, but we're going to see spotty stuff drift up through the lower peninsula over the next 36 to 48 hours, quite frankly. But along with it is going to continue to be some pretty mild temperatures. There is the low pressure system over Nebraska. That is going to move into Minnesota, and then it's going to move up into the Upper Peninsula and follow that pathway. So that's over the next 24 hours. Then there are a couple of other systems that are following suit. Eventually, we're going to see a cold front from these lows that will cross the state. Right now, it appears as though the best chance of that cold front moving through will be as we go through the day on Friday. Friday's low is by no means cold, 50 degrees. We should be at 33, but it's going to be colder on Friday night than what it will be tonight, what it has been last night, and what it'll be tomorrow night. We're looking at mid to upper 50s. 58 for a low tonight, 54 for a low tomorrow night. And then, as I said, 50 degrees on Friday. Over the weekend, we're going to drift down into the mid 40 degree range. So again, not bitter cold, but colder than what we have seen. Now, as we move into the work week next week, and in particular, the tail end of the work week next week, we're going to begin to see some much more average temperatures. We should be 52 in the afternoon and 33 at night. So toward the middle and end of next week, we're going to be a lot closer to that, if actually maybe a tad below that. So the average to take us right up to about the 16th of the month, once we move in through the weekend and into the first part of the work week, will actually be at average, maybe slightly below. And then next weekend, not the upcoming weekend, but the following weekend and the week after that, temperatures are going to be drifting right around the average amount as well. But all the way through this period, we're not looking for any precipitation, big precipitation amounts, average, if not below average, on the precipitation values all the way through the 20th of the month. Soil temperatures, strange as it may seem, we are pretty close to what we were last year when it comes to soil temperatures at the 2-inch level, mid to upper 40s on average as we're looking. There are a few that 48, 49 degrees, but that's kind of the exception, more along the lines of 46 and 47 degrees soil temperatures. The big difference, as we talked with Jerry Smolsky yesterday, was the base 50 growing degrees and the base 42s. We're double what we were a year ago at this stage of the game on those values, and we're going to continue to climb on both of them. So rather dramatic increases in our growing degree days. So, yeah, it is going to enhance some things. We're just keeping our fingers crossed for the folks over on the west side of the state, any orchard growers, because things are really going to be working here with those orchard trees. And we're hoping that when we do settle into a little bit cooler weather, about the 20th or so of April, that we're not going to run into any major problems there. Quite honestly, though, when I have taken a look at the long range, at least through the Memorial Day weekend, I'm not looking at too many chances of seeing a major cold wave move through the Great Lakes area. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed. That, in a nutshell, is what the weather is all about. We're going to talk more about the weather as we go through the broadcast. Cody Harris standing by to let us know what's happening over at Star of the West with our markets. But before we get to all that, this reminder, the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment. They want to remind you that for more than 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. You've got horsepower from 30 to 105 plus an army of attachments. That little tractor is going to tackle every chore on your to-do list. Hauling, mowing, loading, towing, and then some. See them for yourself today at Weiss Equipment, 450 North Main, across from Kroger and Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. Cody Harris, good morning. How are you this morning?
Hey, Terry, with the weather like today, we're doing all right. I can say that.
Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. What are the guys in Chicago feeling good about themselves these days?
Well, we got a little bit of a mixed bag here today. I'm going to say for the most part they're happy, but kind of looking at everything the way it sits right now. Oh, we got cash wheat. That's up 2 right now, Terry. $5.88 on the white, $5.53 on the red. Looking over at new crop wheat, that's up 5 this morning. $5.88 on the white, $5.53 on the red as well. Looking over at corn, cash corn, that is up 3 this morning at $5.22. New crop corn is up 1 this morning at $4.34. Looking over at soybeans, cash soybeans are down 10 at $13.69, and new crop soybeans are down 3 at $12.03.
Sounds like we're just kind of drifting away here.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag day. Kind of market's definitely been quiet compared to what it's been the last couple of weeks or so. The market's still trying to get a handle on kind of where this world demand's at and all the supply, especially as we kind of look at South America's, second corn crop planting, and as we're getting started planting up here I know kind of looking at the corn market right now, that May corn futures, that's kind of firm here this morning, and that kind of look at the calendar spreads as well between the May and July and even into new crop. That continues to show strong demand in the U.S. corn market. In addition to that, as we're looking at drier weather pattern down in southern Brazil in that second corn region, and that kind of the rationale down there is that about 35% of the corn that second crop corn was planted later than normal, and that's making it a little susceptible to warm and dry weather during pollination. So that's something a lot of traders are keeping an eye on. And kind of looking at the U.S., that firm basis looks to extend as farmers are kind of slowly getting into the fields. Some beneficial rains are falling and will continue to fall. For much of the Corn Belt in the coming days, the heavy rains, they may be coming to the Delta and the Southeast region. That may delay some planting efforts, but as of right now, we're looking at about 2% national planting pace, which is on pace for this time of year right now as we're just kind of getting started. And then kind of looking ahead, I think some traders are kind of looking ahead to Friday. Terry, we got another USDA report. It's the April USDA WASDE report that comes out every month. And right now in the corn market, it seems like a few traders are expecting to see maybe an upward revision in U.S. corn export sales. That's going to kind of result in maybe a decline in some ending stocks. Something to keep an eye on as we move to Friday. Look over at beans, soybean futures, they're the ones only crop right now that's a little lower to begin the trade this Wednesday. That has a lot to do. We saw bean oil this morning. It's kind of pausing its recovery that we saw the last week or so. In addition to that, looking at South America, Brazil has definitely taken the task of supplying the world with soybeans, especially China, as Chinese demand remains very, very strong. Then kind of look over here at the U.S., as in corn, the domestic soy basis in the U.S. remains very firm as soy processors are trying to scramble to buy the limited bushels that we see out there today, Terry. And then for Friday's WASDE report is for soybeans. Trade's kind of expecting maybe a record large Brazilian soybean crop at about 134 million metric tons, but they kind of will see maybe a likely fall in Argentina, the fall under the 47 million metric ton mark, but still a record for South America. Looking over at wheat this morning, wheat's kind of being a little quiet. We got new crop wheat futures that are kind of mildly higher here this morning. A lot of that has to do with the Minneapolis wheat futures. They're heading for their third consecutive higher close here today. A lot of that has to do with the dryness in northern plains and Canadian prairies. That's projected to continue for the next 2 weeks. So that's definitely putting a little bit of pressure on that market, causing the wheat market to maybe bump up here a little this morning.
All righty. Cody, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You take care, all right?
Yep, you as well, Terry. Appreciate it.
Will do. A little bit more as far as what the markets are doing. Over at Oppenheimer we go with Doug Klein. The market report brought to you by the folks at Schaefer and Beerline. It's spring commercial truck season going on right now at Schaefer and Beerline. So if you're looking for a new Ram commercial truck or van, get it from a dealer that's been around since 1852. They know trucks and vans. You can buy with confidence from a dealer where family and service sells cars. Schaefer and Beerline. And by Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call today for a quote. Morning, Doug Klein. What are we looking at?
Well, looks like the play is in crude oil again, but this time it's down, which is okay. Down about 1.5% across the board on crude and heating oil and gasoline, and everything else is less than 1%. So here's your numbers. The May corn is 5.56 3/4, up 2.5 cents. December corn 4.83 3/4, up 0.5 penny. The May soybeans 14.08 1/4, down 10.5. November soybeans 12.68, down 3 1/4. May wheat 6.16, up 0.5 penny, and December wheat 6.23 1/2, up 4 1/4. The crude oil is 58.34, down $1 a barrel. Heating oil is 177.13, down 2.7 cents. Gasoline 192.43, down 3.9 cents. Natural gas 2.52, that's up 6.5 cents. The U.S. dollar gets you $1.2621 Canadian at the border. That's up 58 ticks. The yen is at 109.69. That's down 5 ticks. The euro is 118.88, up 13 ticks. And the dollar's at 92.29. That's down 5 ticks. Gold's at 17.38.30, down $3.20. Silver's at 25.19, down 3.5 cents. Platinum's at 12.33.80. It's down a whole $4.
All right. Doug, you take care.
Okay, thanks.
We'll talk to you again. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor Parts. It's new parts for old tractors. It's easy to get those parts. There's guys out there that have them. Yeah, Steiner Tractor. That's it. Go to steinertractor.com or easier, 1-800-234-3280. You know, they do understand how your life and job both stop if your tractor stops running. So give them a call today for those new parts. We say good morning to Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, what should we be doing right now?
Terry, one of the things I've been seeing running around the internet is if you wait till consistently 50, 55 degree temperatures before you clean your garden up, you're going to help out a lot of pollinators. And, as much as that there's some truth to that, the amount of pollinators that you're going to save cleaning up your garden beforehand in the earlier season is not going to be that great. The pollinators are going to be more in the natural areas, in the fields, the meadows, in those areas. In a landscape, in your garden areas there, the pollinators wintering over that will be in the debris that you're going to be cutting off and taking away and discarding are going to be few and far between. So, as far as cleaning up, get it cleaned up, everything's breaking. Gosh, Terry, with the weather the way it was yesterday in the morning, buds were just starting to open, and by the end of the day, they were really emerged in one day. You could almost see them grow.
And they're going crazy today, too. Jerry, take care. Have a good one, all righty?
You betcha. Tomorrow's a big day, too.
Yes, it will be. Take care. Jerry Samolsky. We're going to talk some PPP loans with Jared Fisher from Thumb Bank right after this.
Northeastern Paint, Home Decoration Center. We're more than a custom paint store. We have everything you need. From carpet to lighting, it's all here. With quality and satisfaction guaranteed. Northeastern Paint, Home Decoration Center.
Since 1959, count them, that's 62 years, Northeastern Paint Supply has been serving the Tri-Cities. We have the most knowledgeable staff in the area, offering you the highest quality products in the industry. Benjamin Moore Paints, Hunter Douglas Blinds, Quoizel and Kitchener Lighting, Flooring from Flooring America, fireplace doors, gas logs, and custom-made rugs. It's all here under one roof. Northeastern Paint Supply, Saginaw and Bay City.
Northeastern Paint, Home Decoration Center.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil. They're going to get your diesel running at peak efficiency with Diesel Guard Supreme Plus from Valve Tech Petroleum. It's available right now at Foster Blue Water Oil. You do get up to 8% improved fuel economy, and that engine's a whole lot cleaner as well. For more information, just go to fosterbluewateroil.com. Jared Fisher joining me this morning from Thumb Bank. Jared, we've had all sorts of deadlines. We've had extensions of deadlines. We've had extensions of deadlines, but you still have to have your paperwork in by a certain date. What is going on these days with the PPP loans?
Well, our latest deadline is the end of May. So May 31st was extended for 60 days from the original date. But even though that it is May 1st, it's not time to wait around till the end of May, because there is right now a finite dollar amount of funding for this program. And so we think that there's a chance that the funding may run out before that deadline. So if you're looking at or thinking about getting in on a PPP loan and haven't done so yet, act sooner than later.
Yeah. And again, we talk about the money and the potential of the money drying up. There are still a lot of folks that don't realize that they qualify.
Yeah, there are. A lot of people think they need to have an organized payroll or need to have a handful of employees to be able to be eligible for the program. But there is sole proprietors do fall under being able to apply and be part of this program. So if you have a Schedule C or a Schedule F and want to get more information, you can go on our website and reach out to the nearest branch to you. And each branch has people that are very well versed in who does qualify and who doesn't qualify, and a lot of the information that goes with that. So, feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Sounds great. Jared, thank you very much for sharing. We really appreciate it. You take care, all right?
All right, you too, Terry.
Okay, doke. Chuck Lipstrew joining me right now. We're going to talk a little infrastructure with Chuck. Give us the latest scoop on what we're talking about here with some of these proposed bills, legislation.
I thought it'd be good to talk about infrastructure, Terry, because it's been in the press so much the last couple of weeks. The Biden administration is out with its infrastructure proposal. It would be a substantial investment in a variety of areas. Pretty broad proposal, to be honest with you. There's a lot of different things that can be classified as infrastructure, that's for sure. From our perspective, we've had a very clear message for the last couple of years, which is that we need to fix the roads, we need to fix rural bridges, we need to invest in waterways, we need to invest in rail, and we need to invest in broadband. Those are 5 areas where we can make a real difference in rural Michigan. The good news is that the proposal that's on the table covers off on those areas. Probably the other side of it is it's going to be a journey to get an infrastructure bill done. The administration's got its proposal out there. That's not what's going to be passed into law ultimately. And I just want everybody to know that infrastructure will be one of our top priorities. We know that among our other organizations we work with, infrastructure is a top issue. And we're going to keep pushing for more money for the roads, for rural bridges, for rural broadband, for waterways and rail. I think it's absolutely critical. And we do have an opportunity to talk about those things now that there's a proposal on the table.
All right. Chuck, thanks you very much. You take care. Have a great day, okay?
You too, Terry.
All righty.
For almost 20 years, Line-X has been the only place to go for quality spray-on bed liner. But did you know they also offer rust-proofing and undercoating?
Their exclusive process will keep your new or used vehicle protected.
The guys at Line-X have the only wax-based rust-proofing and military-spec undercoat to ensure years of protection.
In fact, all new vehicles protected will get a lifetime warranty, no yearly touch-ups required.
And because their rust-proofing process is wax-based, you won't have any long-term dripping or mess to clean up later. Rust-proof your car, truck, or SUV and protect it year-round.
Line-X is located on Wilder Road in Bay City.
Give them a call at 989-671-9820 or call them at their Grand Blanc location, 810-695-9000.
Remember, your new car, truck, or SUV gets a lifetime warranty with no yearly touch-up required.
Again, the number in Bay City is 989-671-9820 or in Grand Blanc, 810-695-9000.
Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we join radio stations all across the country by playing our national anthem.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
Deborah Rodriguez. European health regulators confirm a possible link between AstraZeneca's COVID vaccine and rare blood clots. Still, the EU Medicines Agency's Emer Cook says the benefits far outweigh the risks.
Our safety committee has confirmed that the benefits of the AstraZeneca vaccine in preventing COVID-19 overall outweigh the risks of side effects.
The UK says it'll offer alternatives to people under 30. The AstraZeneca shot is not approved for use in the US. The CDC says that as of today, about 3 million people in this country have been vaccinated. That's up about 8% in a week, but daily cases rose more than 2% over the same period. More colleges are making vaccinations mandatory for the fall semester. Dr. Anthony Fauci tells CBS this morning he isn't surprised.
They could be universities, they could be commercial organizations. They're going to say, we're not going to have you come in unless you get vaccinated. You're not going to see that from a federal government mandate. But I mean, I would be very surprised if we did not see that at the local level.
Cornell and Brown are among the universities requiring vaccines. There's a warning about a temporary vaccine side effect. CBS's Jim Krasula.
COVID-19 vaccines can cause all sorts of odd, but generally not dangerous, skin reactions. That's according to a new study from researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital. The reactions include a measles-like rash and shingles. Thankfully, brief side effects of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. The study was done before the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was authorized.
President Biden is ready to make his case for American Jobs Plan later. White House correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
As critics continue pointing out all of the items in the massive package that aren't traditional infrastructure, the White House says it's eager to have a debate over proposals it believes are popular. They include social programs such as in-home health care that the administration argues would help people with family needs be more productive in the workforce. As for the proposed pay-for, an increase in the corporate tax, Biden aides see that as one of the more popular features of the plan.
Former Vice President Mike Pence is re-entering the political fray. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
Pence's new group comes with the blessing of the former president, who in a brief statement today called his first term the most successful in American history and added, "Nice to see Mike," highlighting some of our many achievements.
Mr. Pence is scheduled to make his first public address since the Trump administration on April 29th in South Carolina. He'll speak at a dinner hosted by a conservative Christian nonprofit. The Dow is down 70 points. The S&P is off 2. This is CBS News.
This hour's newscast is presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you want the ability to adjust your loan options in real time, Rocket can.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSJW.